The one piece of advice I would give would be to just be original. I mean, there is no such thing as a perfect publication. There's no such thing as a perfect book, a perfect graphic novel. There's always something we wish we could go back and do better. But as long as I think you're trying to come up with an original idea or put an original spin on something, I think you're going to be happier with yourself. I know that did I sell as many books as I wanted to in the first year? No, but I'm happy with the product I put out, and I'm even more happy with the second book. I've also got a short story that's going to be published soon in a magazine. So I'm just, as long as I keep approaching things from an original vantage point, I'll be happy with what I do.
Yeah, I would break it down to just one question writers need to ask themselves is it a vanity project or is it a profit project? And if it's a vanity project, just do whatever you want. You have nothing holding you back. You just make what makes you happy. If it's not a vanity project, in my eyes, it's something that's aiming to get an audience. And once you're in that camp, you have a lot of work to do because you have to get a beat on what's hot. You have to get a beat on, is your project easy to communicate to people who are going to either fund it or stand behind it? You have less chance to be original. You can put an original twist on something like JD said, but you can't be totally original because no one's going to listen to you. They'll listen to you 20 years later when they found out that you were a genius and you were 20 years ahead of the game, but you're not allowed to be that original. You have to really ingest a lot of sort of visuals and design and, again, the landscape. What is the landscape? You have to incorporate that into the visuals that you attach to your writing piece. Your writing piece, your pitch, whatever it may be, will be infinitely more valuable and infinitely more ingestible if it has even one promotional art piece attached to it. That will be your most important art piece. That's the one you have to repeatedly show to everybody. It's kind of like, oh, we need fresh content. No, if you're pitching something that's new, you only need one art piece and you only need to keep showing that art piece, refining it until it is as crystal clear in describing what your movie is about. And it doesn't have to be a piece that describes your story to a T. It has to give a feeling. And that feeling, you can learn about how to create an art piece or how to art direct as a writer, or you're only going to be able to art direct the piece. Or if you're a writer artist, that's another thing. But let's just assume you're a writer and predominantly a writer and you want to hire an expert to create a promotional art piece. The way to learn about how to make promotional art pieces is to, again, absorb whatever's around you, especially movie posters. Study movie posters. Look at movie posters and ask yourself, what feeling does this give me? And then look at your own for-profit project and think about, how can I make a poster that gives me a feeling that I'm trying to convey? And chances are, again, this is not an original idea because you're not allowed to be super, super original, when you're dealing with, these people who are going to fund your project, usually. So it's been done before. So, seek out the movie posters that conveyed that feeling for you in the past. Dig them up, dig them up on the internet, find out what they look like and give that to your artist and say, I want it to look like this and this with these colors and it could be from 5 different projects, but that's where you're communicating your idea to the artist to create this awesome promotional piece that's going to be a big part of making that project happen for you.
I'm sorry, I just wanted to jump in because something Stan said is absolutely, absolutely true. I'm glad he said it because 3 of the 7 rejections I got, my first round of rejections, were all basically the same thing. We don't know what to do with this. It's a cool story. We like it. Can't market it. So he's right. You have to play the game a little bit. So I just wanted to say I wish I had mentioned that. So thank you, Stan. You said it better than I could.
This is a mandate for all aspiring writers, beginning writers. Start small. Don't make your magnum opus right out of the gate because 1, it's going to be terrible. So you don't want your big thing to be bad, do you? And 2, if you're a beginning writer, no one's going to want to read your magnum opus right away because they're going to look at it and be like, you've never written anything before? Like, what do I have to go on? So start small. Make the small thing as good as it can be so it can be your calling card. So you give it to someone, they're like, oh, wow, this is good. And it didn't take me too long to read it. Oh, thanks a lot. I appreciate that. So the next time you do come along with the thing that's maybe a little bit bigger, maybe a little more complicated, they're going to be willing to give you more time because time is money. And so start small, and that way you're also going to get your first project done. And because if you start big, you might not get it done, and then you'll never get anything done. So